Beardy and the Beast, The Second Wall.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. This is a placeholder intro song.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Beardy and the Beast Second Wall, a podcast series where we talk about a TV series in segments a la television water cooler talk. There will be some spoilers ahead as we discuss the series. We're available on this and other services, and for a full list, check out beardyandthebeast.com. My name is Drew, and joining me is my serendipitous friend Devin.
What's up?
Today we'll be talking about episodes 1 through 3 of Carole Tuesday. This is an animated music drama released in 2019 and created by Shinichiro Watanabe. So Devin, this was your recommendation. How did you come
Yeah.
across it, and what drew you to it?
Um, honestly, so I guess I watched another music-based anime for Lion April, which is another fantastic series. Um,
I'm sure you'll
and
have me watching that by the end of this.
yeah, it's definitely a longer one though.
Hmm.
So that's why I haven't put it on there yet. But it's the animation style got me. Just hearing like a little bit of music on the trailer on Netflix, I'm like, I'm into that, and uh, was really impressed by it. Um, no, this is definitely your first viewing. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. So, I mean, where do you think it's going? How did you find the first few episodes?
Well, I was initially concerned. Like I liked the style of the art, but I was concerned that the animation um would seem like very fluid backgrounds, but a lower frame rate, like 15 frames a second style animation of the characters would get to me.
Right.
But as a stylistic choice, I actually found it appealing, amazing. So that was like, first 30 seconds, I was able to get off over the only hurdle that I thought I might have going into it. Um, and honestly, I'm a bit sad because I was restricted to only watching episodes 1 through 3, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's gonna be super, super difficult not to binge this series. I mean, like for this recording, I could only watch the first 3 eps, and I'm sitting here going like, I want to know what happens. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, like the 15 frames a second that you talk about, I mean, they managed to definitely make it look beautiful. Um, I know it's a very anime thing. I mean, unless you're talking Akira,
Mm.
most anime tend to be pretty low frame rate. So it's definitely, I can definitely understand where it takes a bit to, sometimes that can be in the way of
Mm.
enjoying media. Um, I found that they put those 15 frames to good use though. Like, you, most animation, if you have someone playing a guitar or playing a piano, they're just kind of like mimicking it. You'll see a hand slide, but like,
Oh, like
I
Bongo
felt
Cat.
like, yeah, yeah. I feel like watching this is like, if I knew enough, I'd probably be able to mimic their hand movements and actually play what's there. Like it looks like they're playing the instruments,
There,
which
there,
is a nice touch.
there seems to be some authenticity there. For instance, things like the episode names, I think, anyways, are the tracks of like well-known Western singers.
Yes.
I noticed that they were referring to a whole slew of other like Western singers and artists. Cyndi Lauper, Michael Jackson, Daft Punk, Motorhead, Bruno Mars, The Beatles, like,
Yeah.
and those were just the ones I caught in the first
Yeah.
3 episodes. I thought that was a cool feature. So I imagine like if they were to have a close up of Tuesday's left hand, chances are she would actually be forming the chords of the guitar.
Yeah. And you can get little glimpses of that. Like you see, it's not just her hand slide. You see her fingers move. I don't know how accurate it is, but as you said, authentic. It really feels that way.
Well, Carol and the Keys definitely, um, like if you watch someone online, like a video of someone actually playing keyboard, it definitely looks very similar, the way that the fingers are moving. There's definitely some research and consideration, probably like a whole slew of consultants going and the director just being like, no, doesn't that doesn't look right,
Yeah.
um, and fixing it and changing it. One thing that I noticed about episodes one through three is we haven't actually established a true antagonist yet.
Yeah.
Like they're setting it up, and I'm really curious as to who it's going to be. Is it going to be like Angela and Tao? Is it going to be Ertagon? Like I'm unsure at this point, but there was definitely some interesting things that I picked up that I'm wondering that you had seen.
All right.
I know you, of course, know these answers, but one thing that I kind of appreciated is um, so Tuesday had a rebellion moment and did so by burning her music notes in Ertajan's house and causing the sprinklers to go off. And he had a little grin or a smile after that. But before that, when they were touring the house, some other people might not have noticed, but he had Banksy pieces on the wall.
Yep.
So, I mean, Banksy being a famous street artist, and one of the pieces that was up there was a famous piece that Banksy um, put in a actual art showing, and they had all these like Ponzi people up and about talking about the pieces, and then all of a sudden, one of the piece started shredding because the
Yeah.
frame was actually a paper shredder, and he had a replication of, I assume would be a replica of that on as well.
Yep.
So I'm not sure about Ertajon because he also shows characteristics that would also make him a great antagonist because he's very self-absorbed. Like even like his shirt, like who am I? This is my name. But I'm wondering if that'll become a thing.
The who am I part
No, the
or the
the
just the character.
Ertajon recognizing Tuesday and respecting that rebellion. Like it could go one of two ways, and I'm not convinced which. Will it be Tuesday and Carol getting a cohort of people around them and joining them, a la other um, anime series is, where like the group just grows and grows, bring people into the fold, and will Ertajon be one of them, or will he turn out being an,
Right.
which I think they're setting up Tao to be. Um, I definitely, so far, I really like the characters of Tuesday and Carol. One of the things that I noticed was each of the characters. How would you say this? They don't. You can see this like in people around you. As a person, they don't seem whole. It seems like they're missing characteristics,
Yeah.
and I feel like the characteristics Carol is missing are found Tuesday and vice versa. Uh,
Um, you, you notice they actually say that. I ended up watching both the English and the Japanese version. We're
mm,
mostly discussing the Japanese version. It was a little bit clearer, but when they were writing The Loneliest Girl, they actually say they actually basically say, okay, we clearly complete each other. I
I
can't
might
remember the exact.
Yeah, I might have picked that up like subconsciously and watched it, and then
Yeah,
like just noted that down.
yeah.
Um, that's definitely the impression they give. One thing about me when I watch characters, when I see characters like Carol and Tuesday, or like any two characters becoming closer, my first response is to like throw something at the screen and yell "Now kiss." But in this case, I didn't have that urge, and in fact, I was like, I want this to be a wholesome sisterly bond.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to see romance there. I
yeah,
just want to see like two souls coming closer and become family.
yeah. Well, I kind of want to. I'm going to touch on that point for a second there,
Hmm.
because it's one thing that I find. I feel it came through on these first three episodes, and I'm hoping you see this, and it's not me just expanding from having seen the entire
Hmm.
series. and it also goes back to that authenticity. It's very genuine. You see it very much with, when they're there writing The Loneliest Girl in the first episode, when they're running from the security guards and the cops, and, you really see it. I know it was the first thing I showed you before we decided to do this as a series, the Round and Round song,
Mm,
just that authenticity of it's like, yeah, no, we just feel music and they just start getting a beat and, a song comes from it. And it's one thing I find like you can see in those views, they have a pure joy when they're doing that. And I feel they managed to show that very well through the even the first few episodes that we've seen. So you can tell that it's passion that's driving them.
mm, mm. Yeah, I definitely could get that feeling. Like, and the art style lent into it as well because you can tell the characters feel like that they're progressing, that they're moving, and like finding themselves through each other. And
Right.
I really enjoy that. One thing I notice is like again, I'm only 3 episodes in, and I feel like they're gonna want to take this Roddy character and use that as a stand-in for the male viewer, um, as a tag along.
Okay.
Um, I also think there might be like some of that character like wanting one of the characters, either Carole or Tuesday, like having a romantic desire from them. But I'm unsure. Like you barely even touch on him, and the only reason why I get that is because like one throwaway line of like, "Oh, did they mention me?" So
Mhm.
obviously, like he wants to be known by them. But to be honest, I so far I haven't felt the Roddy character. And you figured that I might, being a techie and like enjoying music and like that sort of concept. But to be honest, I feel myself more identifying with the character.
Really?
Yeah, so more of like a clever kind of streetwise, like outwardly strong
Yeah.
appearance.
Yeah.
But definitely like that gushy gooey on the inside kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, it's at least how I come off. I'm not.
So before I tell you how I see it, which character do you think I respond to?
Huh. Gus.
Believe it or not, no.
I, I'm
Definitely
Gu-
not.
I'm Gus.
um,
I'm Gus. When I'm a few in, uh,
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
guess. I'm actually gonna guess here. This is a fun little trivia show because I think this is a trick question.
All right.
I think because we're buddies, um, I actually think you know me well enough. You knew I was gonna say Carol, and I think you know that my response would be because we're friends that I would say Tuesday, but I think that is incorrect.
All right.
I'm thinking Angela.
You know what? I can't respond without swearing. um, yeah. Mostly mostly Angela. There's definitely a bit of Tuesday.
Hmm.
Like I think Tuesday comes across the type of girl that I'd be attracted to,
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
right?
100%. No, me
Yeah.
too. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good on you. I was a little bit of a trick question.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
during the as of yet unknown after party, we'll talk about it more.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
All right. So, oh, go
little
ahead.
little do our attendees know I'm actually super duper smart. So, um, I'm able to answer questions like this at a whim.
He gets lucky sometimes. All right. So, I guess I have a few questions for you because I'm really interested in just kind of playing with the predictions and seeing where you go. Obviously, I'm trying to do this without being as leading as possible.
Sure.
So, I guess the my first question for you is, what are you seeing as the theme of the show overall?
Um, okay, so I don't want to get over analytical about it.
Mhm.
Um, but the intro definitely is either a misdirection or gives away the whole shebang.
Okay.
So they said the 7 minutes that changed Mars or what.
Yeah.
So with that, I could extract that they gain followers, they get a platform, virality, and then from there, um, I assume that they're going to outdo Bill and Ted, actually uh, release a song that makes the world actually come together,
Yeah.
or at least pause for say 7 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Um, Based, if I were to subtract that one line, I could only say that because this is a character driven show,
Mhm.
that it would just be the relationships between the people. Because we're
Okay.
only 3 episodes in, and no antagonist has actually been established. Like
Right.
we know Tao is a machine. He's pretty much an AI himself. That's what they've shown of him. Gus is well intentioned. Ertajon is a mystery, but it's definitely self absorbed. Um, don't know much about Roddy, so it's really just establishing the characters.
Right.
Um,
Let me ask the question a little different way because you kind of touched a little bit more on where you think the story is going.
mm,
I'm meaning more like not from the plot standpoint, but like what's the key elements of the story? So, within the world, are you seeing like maybe not a conflict between characters, but conflicts between ideas and themes? I think is where I was going with that more.
hmm. I'm not sure. I don't have a concrete direction for that. I think at this point I could only make plot point predictions.
Okay.
Um, However, if I were to base themes from an emotional standpoint,
Hmm.
we have like a feeling of togetherness and emotional bonding.
Right.
A conflict will arise. Likely, there's going to be a the emotion of loss or betrayal.
Okay.
Then from there, some type of resolution. If it were to follow a standard patterning. But where these points are going to come from, I am super unsure. And I imagine within episode 4 or 5, that's when things will start coming together.
Okay.
As an antagonist comes in, as the relevance of Tuesday's mother, her running for Mars president or whatever, um, as Ertajon makes his move, as Angela starts to gain, like, releases her song.
Okay.
Um, Really tough to say.
All right. I am hesitant to tell you the themes that I see, even in like the first two episodes,
Mm.
because I think it will color your. I think it would answer a lot of your questions
Oh yeah, don't do that.
if you know what I see. So, or at the very least, I think it would color your perspective too much. So, a little bit of a shame. This is going to be a question that I'm going to be asking you again
Mm.
because I want to
See the
I want to be
evolution.
able to I want to see the evolution and I want to be able to discuss it with what I see, and even if that ends up happening when um, we do more of a larger scale review
Mm.
on this. So, because I think there's a lot of interesting things there. All right, so I had a list of I had basically four characters, and much like you, I see Carole and Tuesday as one unit.
Hmm.
Again, because they do fill each other. So um, we kind of talked about the plot. You think you're going to be seeing the gaining the followers and going through vi-
Oh,
virality.
you just said a thing, and then I had a light bulb moment.
Okay.
Um, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Um,
no, it's fine.
the so I was wondering to myself, in shows like this, um, there's always a splitting moment or a betrayal moment,
Right.
and I thought it would either be like they would do something and then the other characters would feel betrayed. Um, and I thought it would either be Gus or alternatively would either be Tuesday or Carol.
Okay.
And you stating that you view them as one unit actually answered a question in my head of which it would be Carol or Tuesday. And it
Okay.
would be Tuesday would be the betrayer, finger quotations,
Okay.
um, betraying Carol's feelings.
Okay.
Because if you look at them as one unit, it would be someone betraying themselves, and the one to do that would be Tuesday.
Okay. Sorry, I'm noting here.
Granted, I am also predicting a conflict, but I'm doing so without knowing the antagonist.
Right.
The entire series could just be Carol and Tuesday versus Tao, and then Tao eventually loses Angela. Angela becomes part of the cohort. It's I'm wondering how tropey this is. All I know is I've enjoyed it so far,
Yep, and
and not just watching the entire thing in like over the course of an evening
right.
has been really nice.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to have the kind of conversation like this. You don't get the water cooler conversations anymore, and the
Hmm.
speculating and such. So, all right. So, where do you think the following characters are going? Um, Again, obviously, you've only seen a few episodes, so you don't really have much of an arc. I've got a list of four.
Okay.
Again, considering Carol and Tuesday as one unit essentially, and feel free to go either character or a plot point prediction
Hmm.
on them. Right. Either way, just something to go with. So I guess let's start with the obvious Carol and Tuesday. I
Um.
think you kind of touched on that.
Yeah. Because I was kind of like reading your mind ahead a little bit there. Because
Yeah.
again, I'm super smart.
Yeah.
Um. No. I think it'll for the first season
Mhm.
it will either be no conflict between them and it's them against the world with a
Okay.
gathering cohort. Alternatively, there could be the betrayal moment and then they come back and make up and they're stronger than before.
Okay.
Um, they will have that 7 minutes, I think it is, that stopped Mars or whatnot.
Right.
Um, Granted, that could also be an altered statement. It might be them doing a rebellious thing that doesn't even involve music, um, disrupting Tuesday's mom at a presidential event. That's kind of generic. They are the most wholly formed characters so far, so they definitely have the most complex traits. So that's all I can predict for
Did you say Carol's mom? You mean Tuesday's mom?
Tuesday's mom, because Carol doesn't have a mom.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Eh,
All right.
eh, every recording, I'm messing up somebody. I'm just like
Just
Carol.
yeah. I knew who you meant.
Yeah.
I wrote it down right, but always good to clarify.
Okay, next person.
Yeah. Okay, where do you think Angela is going?
Angela. Uh, so Angela has interesting character points. It's obvious that she takes out the things that are pent up inside of her based on having a toxic family and upbringing on the people around her. Um, and she's currently with Tao. So either one of two things will happen with her. She'll either successfully use Tao and become a primary antagonist, which I don't think will be the case. I think she'll be used by Tao and then eventually um, toss him to the wind, go her own way, and then what's the way to say the real music was the friends she met along the way. She's probably going to um, meet Carole Tuesday and become a more whole or better person from knowing them, which is the
Right.
most likely circumstance, but that could also be a second season thing.
So become a better person after meeting them. Okay.
Yeah. Or she marries Roddy happily ever after. I like
All right.
that.
But the marrying and becoming a better person.
Yeah. Well, it's just Roddy ex Angela. They haven't met and I ship it.
All right. Um, I'm glad that they picked the right characters, just judging from what you've talked about with them so far. So where do you think you kind of mentioned this one with Angela, but where do you think Tao is going?
um, well, I don't like Tal to start.
Okay.
Um, he he seems to envy and want to be an AI.
Okay.
So I he could snap when Carole and Tuesday release a song that he feels is better than his perfect AI can create and become
Okay.
crazy, or it might make him a better person. This could end up just being a series that Carole and Tuesday just make everyone around them the best that they can be. Which I wouldn't mind, honestly, based on the way it's going and the fact that their character development feels like I wouldn't be angry, but um, yeah. So far, I don't have a read on him. Just don't like him.
Okay.
Um, I don't like bullies, but if I were to bully somebody, it'd probably be Tao.
All right. All right.
Next
Uh,
character,
next character is Erdogan.
Erdogan. Okay, he is the biggest mystery to me
Okay.
because I mentioned this before. He seems to have some rebellion to him.
Right.
Um, he could he could also just those Banksies could just be him buying something that shows rebellion, a facade,
Right.
an image
Right.
around him. Um, but he didn't seem to snap when they set off the fire sprinklers inside the house with all his stuff in it.
Right.
You figure if he was just obsessed with wealth, that he would have some type of attachment to it. So right now I'm leading to towards him becoming a part of the cohort, alternatively willingly allowing Carolyn Tuesday use his platform to become bigger as was suggested in the first 3 episodes.
I kind of had a couple other character questions. Trying to think. I'm just trying to make sure that they're not going to lead again. So I'm just contemplating if I want to ask it.
Well, I mean, you can follow up with it when we do part two.
Yeah, I think there might be. Yeah, judging from what you've told me so far, I think that's probably the better way to go.
Yeah.
Because I do think it'll lead you too much. Yeah, I think that covers a good chunk of the questions that I had here now. Um, I think gives it's interesting to see where you think it's going to go and the tropes and such like that. So yeah,
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited to watch the following episodes of this. I think it's going to be a real good time. And we will see if my predictions are anything even closely related to what will happen. Either way, I'm sure I'll enjoy it as I have already. Otherwise, this has been Beardy and the Beast Second Wall. Join us next week for Media Club, where we discuss the movie Dread, and the following second wall after that, Carolyn Tuesdays, for episodes 4 through 6. Follow us here or on other platforms, all listed at beardedandthebeast.com. And if you like what we do, send us to your friend.